This is Grassland Studios, and welcome to our perspective drawing series. Today, we'll be talking about reference points. So, what exactly are reference points? Well, reference points are a little bit similar to vanishing points, except they can be used casually and can be used alongside vanishing points. So, let's go ahead and lay everything out. To show you this example, forget about vanishing points and the center of vision and station points and measuring points for just a second, because they're not exactly needed. Let's go ahead and create this color right here. I'm going to go ahead and use a orange to be able to make our construction lines. So if we draw a line straight across, we have our eye level. Everything is determined upon the eye level. You could technically have infinite reference points across the eye level. So let's say we have a character. I'm going to call him Bob. If we create a line to denote a character right there, that's where Bob is. Now, Bob is 6 feet tall. At this point in the picture, Bob is 6 feet, and this is where he stands. Let's say that Bob wants to walk off into the distance. To translate Bob to a different point in the picture off in the distance, select any area along the eye level line and connect the top and bottom of the line that denotes the character of Bob. Now, you can simply grab your line, go to anywhere along this area that you want, and draw Bob again. While maintaining perspective, at this distance, Bob is 6 feet. So let's go ahead and mark Bob. Here's Bob off in the distance at 6 feet. Now notice that once you denote this specific line as being 6 feet, the units of measurement that you use, whatever units they may be, are now constrained. And the rest of the picture will be determined, as far as proportions go, in accordance with that character. So when you're setting up a drawing, make sure to know what dimensions you're going to be using and how large or how small you want everything to be. Let's say that Bob wants to move to the other side of the street. If Bob wants to move to the other side of the street, you can also translate horizontally. Simply grab a line and draw straight across from both the top and the bottom of the actual line. Now notice that anywhere along this line we could technically draw Bob. If he moved left or right, depending on how far or how short of a distance he wanted to go, it would still technically be correct. So let's go ahead and draw in Bob. Let's say he's right here. There's Bob. This is Bob translated horizontally at 6 feet. Now, let's say that Bob has a sister, Sally. Let's say that Sally is going to be further back within the distance. We could go ahead and draw a line off into a different point within along the eye level, and we can go ahead and draw Sally in. Let's say that Sally is also 6 feet. Well, notice that along this point, for our reference point, it is still the same distance, and the measurements are correct. If we have a reference point out here, we'll call this reference point 2, and this reference point 1. Sally is 6 feet as long as she is contained within these constraints. There's Sally off in the distance at 6 feet. Let's go ahead and mark that. Here's Sally at 6 feet. Now notice that just the same as we can mark horizontally on this area, we can also mark horizontally from the point of Sally. Anywhere along her line, as long as you contain it, is technically 6 feet, and she can move horizontally in any direction of which she wanted. All of these lines are the same distance. And if you were to calculate the actual distance, the actual measurements, I should say, of the line itself, and you were to say intersect the line at one point and say it were halfway, you could then draw from this point off into the distance to the reference point. And you could create, let's say, Bob's nephew. At half the measurement, you can calculate 3 feet, Bob's nephew. There's Bob's nephew at 3 feet. So you can see that reference points are incredibly helpful and handy. I hope that this video helped you out in being able to use reference points and understanding them within your drawings. Have a good day.